And then it sort of felt even more impossible. It had felt really hard, and we had had lots of trials and tribulations and not much success.
A challenging path to motherhood. Two Tulsa moms are telling me what it took to get here as they prepare to celebrate their first Mother's Day. It's on her mind. This weekend will be the first Mother's Day Jasmine and Stacy Onsen-Fletcher spend with their 7-month-old daughter, Poppy.
We still kind of look at her in the evenings while she's sleeping, and I'm like, can you believe this is ours? Can you believe that's our daughter? Can you believe we did this?
Getting here wasn't easy. They tell me they started trying to start a family shortly after they got married in 2019.
We landed in a doctor's office to do IUI, and it wasn't always the best experience.
Was it us and our relationship? Was it just the whole thing is uncomfortable? It definitely didn't feel like, yeah, come on, let's help, let's do this. It didn't feel like a inviting or like teamwork kind of place.
When that didn't work, they moved on to in vitro fertilization, or IVF. Stacy was 36. She says a doctor in Tulsa bluntly told her she was just too old and they'd have to use Jasmine's eggs.
At that point, we hadn't even talked about reciprocal IVF. We hadn't considered it. It suddenly felt like it wasn't accessible for me, or it wasn't reachable because of my age. $48,000 was the quote initially that we were given with the clinic in Tulsa, and it was shocking.
Stacy, this was like her dream, and I wanted to make it happen. Our house at the time was not much more than that, and so it was just like, okay.
Jasmine put together a spreadsheet tracking grants. Then Stacy heard about a new clinic in Oklahoma City that promised more affordable IVF.
We do the same thing, and we are significantly cheaper, probably about 50%. We choose to take a lower profit margin. Yes, we need to be profitable, but we don't need to gouge our patients.
Dr. Sharan Patel opened Mate Fertility in 2021. He says his goal is to provide accessible and affordable fertility care. There's no sticker shock. The costs are mapped out on the homepage.
We are a company or a clinic that is more about getting you the family that you want and getting it now, instead of putting a lot of obstacles in your way.
The language on their website from early on was all very welcoming and very warm, and almost had dare I say, fun.
So I did all the medication to grow my follicles and everything, and then they harvested my eggs and then made the embryos, and then Stacy did her part.
The first round of IVF with Jasmine's fertilized eggs was not successful, but the second time in January of 2023 it worked. And a couple weeks later they learned Stacy was pregnant with their daughter Poppy.
I had a wonderful pregnancy. I was probably healthier than I've ever been, happier than I've ever been. Baby was growing and healthy, and she started kicking at like 18 weeks and never stopped.
One of the cornerstones of our relationship has always been what a great team we are. We've handled a lot of challenges together pretty well as a team, and so it kind of felt, I don't know, just really good to also be a team in this.
And she's got Jasmine's nose, which was like one of the early ultrasounds that I was like, I recognize that nose. And so that was, a fun part of that as well, that it was sort of to see, carrying her and then her coming out and looking like you.
As a doctor, for me, it's more about taking care of my patients, and it doesn't matter where they, if they differ from me politically or religiously, or I'm there to help them.
The website shows Mate's IVF success rate was 54% in 2023, higher than the national average. The franchise is opening new clinics in Texas, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and Kansas. Jasmine and Stacy welcomed their daughter Poppy in October.
We are still paying payments on part of it, but then parts of it we were able to come out of pocket.
And so you want to do it again?
Yes.
Absolutely.
More private insurance plans are covering IVF, which is good to see because so many couples struggle with fertility. We would love to hear what's on your mind. Email onhermind@fox23.com.